Okay, so I'm going to create this part in Onshape and then start applying some dimensions to it. So in my instructions here, it says that the grid spacing is in 1 centimeter. Since we use millimeters primarily in here, I'm going to use 10 millimeters for each centimeter, of course. And then I want datum dimensioning and I want the coordinate method for these angles. And so the first thing I'm going to do is create a cube or rectangular prism with these dimensions. And so I'm going to start on the front view here and count these out. So it looks like I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. So 5 centimeters high is 50 millimeters. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 9? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 9 by 5. Okay, so in Onshape then, go ahead and get logged in. 9 by 5. I'm going to just start a new part. And we're just dimensioning. And so I'm going to start a new drawing in the front view. Sketch. And I'm going to use a rectangle and just create that. I'm already in millimeters, and so this is 90 by 50. Save that. And now I'm going to extrude that by 1, 2, 3, 4. That was pretty narrow. Sorry again?
It's on the top, right?
Yeah, you'll see. I'm going to extrude this here by 40 millimeters. All right, so now I've got this shape. I'm going to get rid of all these planes. So I'm going to create that groove out of the middle of it. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm on the front view here, I'm going to create this V shape. So this is 10 millimeters over from each side. And it looks like I'm 1 millimeter from the bottom. So I'm going to do a new sketch on this front view, right on the part. And I'm going to use the line tool. Okay, I'm going to just, and I don't really care where this goes as long as it's on the top. And then I'm going to close that so I make a full triangle. Escape the line. Now I'm going to add my dimensions. As long as I got these right, everything else should work. So from point to point here is 10 millimeters. And from point to point here is 10 millimeters. And from here to the bottom is 10. And, okay, so I got an error in there because okay, so when I created this V, it accidentally created a right angle, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just, if that happens, you look for the redundant dimension, and this is this right angle here. I'm just going to delete that because it's trying to move this triangle so it's no longer a right angle, okay, which I accidentally created. I didn't mean to do that. The last thing I'm going to do is make these sides equal to each other. So I'm going to use the equal constraint so that these two parts, they should be equal already. But you saw it move over just a little bit. Okay, so I've got this face done. Now I'm going to do the back side, the exact same thing. So I'm just going to flip this around to the back. And on this side, I'm going to create another triangle. So it's sketch, this view. I'm going to use the line tool again. This one is a little smaller than my previous one. There. And let's go ahead and get those dimensions. So I'm going to use this back side. So it's 1, 2 over, 1, 2 over on the sides. And it looks like it goes down 1, 2, 2 down in the back. So the dimension then from this point to the top is 20 millimeters. And from this point to the edge is 20. And from this point to the edge is 20. Okay, so now I've got everything. Oh, let's go ahead and make sure these guys are equal again. Again, the equal constraint here. There we go. All right, so I've got my shapes done. Next thing I'm going to do is the loft tool. I'm going to hit loft, and I'm just going to select those two profiles. And I could do it this way here, where I'm going to click here and the one on the front. And you notice it didn't like that, so I'm going to hit the remove, and that should clean it up for me. And now I have that part drawn. So that's the part's been created. The next thing I need to do is create a drawing file. So I'm going to take this part now into my drawing. Here, I'm going to go to the plus symbol, create drawing. And this is in millimeters. I'm going to use ANSI-B for all of these so I can blow my parts up, make them a little bit bigger. So ANSI-B, again, make sure if you're using inches, make sure you use the ANSI-B inch. This one is in millimeters, so I'm going to use ANSI-B millimeters. All right, so my first part, this always is going to place that front view for me when I drop this in, and you can see that's right here. So as long as I make this oriented properly, it should be no problem. So I'm going to click this. From here, without clicking again, I'm going to drag my mouse straight up to get the top view. When I got it where I want it, I'm going to click to place it. Now I need a right side view. You notice that it doesn't drag over to the right side automatically. So I go back to my front view. I'm going to click on that once, drag it to the right, and it gives me the right side view. Once again, I'm going to go back to my front view. Everything gets oriented off of this front view. So I'm going to click on that once, go up to the side, and that'll give me my isometric. All right, so I have all three of my views in, so I'm going to turn off the projection, okay? And so it's no longer projecting. If I need to adjust this a little bit, if I move my primary, all the rest are going to snap. You'll see that so that they're automatically aligned with each other as I move them around. Now this one here might be a little big, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it. It's not too bad. I'm going to make it a shaded view, so I'm going to right click, hit show hide, shaded view. So now I've got a nice picture so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding dimensions to it. Now it says to use datum dimensioning. Datum dimensioning means I start at one datum point and go over. So I'm using my dimension tool. We're going to use this wall here as my left datum point. So I'm just going to click each of these points and drop my dimension up. There's one. Again, from this wall to the next point is the 2. This wall to the middle is 3. And keep going all the way across. 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to clean this up just a little bit, turn my dimensioning off. I'm going to drag this down just a little bit, move this one up to give me some more room. And I'm just going to zoom in here to kind of tidy this up, make sure everything's centered where I want it centered up. You see it's going to drop that line in there to show me where the center point is. As long as I don't have any overlaps, that works out fine. This 80 should be here in the center. There you go. Okay, so that's the top datum dimensioned. I'm going to do the same thing now on the right side. So again, here I'm going to start with the bottom and go up to this first point right here. The second point is right here. And my third data point is right here. Oh, I don't want the angle, so we're going to escape and try that again. I just really need this side length here like that. Alrighty, let's see. So I have datum dimensioning, coordinate method. Coordinate method means that I don't put an angle in. You'll see here, like this point right here, I have identified where that point is vertically and horizontally. So they have 80 degrees horizontally, and 50 millimeters vertically. So I know exactly where this point is, and where the terminus is. Here's 10 millimeters up and 45 from the side. So I know exactly where these 2 points are. So from there, it really doesn't matter where the angle of this line or anything else. If I know this point and this point, all I'm doing is connecting the dots. And so that's all the data I need. Now, the only other data point that I don't have, so I don't need anything in this top view because it's all identified in the front, right? This distance from here to here, all of those are all identified, so I'm good. The only thing I don't have is this dimension right here, the depth. And so I could either put it here or here. Now, notice that all of my data is in between the views. All right, this is ideal. Sometimes on an odd shape, you may need to put data points down here or on the sides. But whenever possible, I'm going to do it just like that. Okay, and it said to use coordinate method, datum dimensioning. It doesn't say specifically whether to use aligned or unilateral direction, so I have my choice. And I prefer this method, the universal, but if I wanted to switch it, I'd go over here to drawing properties, dimensioning, and then I can switch from horizontal to aligned with dimension line like that. And you see all my verticals rotated 90 degrees. But I prefer the horizontal, so I'm going to leave it that way. And there you go. That is that part. And this is 100% right here if you turn this in.